Hey, I'm Jeff Reber with ERA Real Estate, and here with a longtime friend, Daniel Davis, who's currently the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And upcoming on Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, but March the 21st, we have a big mayoral campaign that we're going to vote on in the city of Jacksonville. And so I wanted to bend Daniel's ear for a minute about what he's experienced at the chamber, what he's excited about upcoming with potentially being mayor, and just kind of his thoughts on the city. So Daniel, thank you for being here this morning.
Honored to be here, Jeff. I can't wait to get the conversation going.
Yeah, so first off, let's start with you've been at the chamber now for a decade, so 2013. Tell me kind of what you've seen over the years in terms of where Jacksonville was, where Jacksonville is now from a business perspective, and then maybe a couple, three things that you're excited about that you see coming that's sort of good news for the residents of the city of Jacksonville.
Yeah. So I grew up in Jacksonville, so it's not like I came here 10 years ago. It's my life. And one of my biggest honors of my career so far is to be able to serve the business owners of Jacksonville at the Jax Chamber. The last 10 years has gone by so fast. I can't believe it. And I mean, we've been able to hang out together. You and I have over the last 10 years, and it just seems like it's flying by. But some great things are happening in Jacksonville, and I would tell you I would rather be here than anywhere else. And I think your viewers should know and should be excited about the future of Jacksonville. And in a weird way, no, obviously the pandemic was a horrible time in our country and in the planet, globally an issue for everybody. But Florida in Jacksonville since the pandemic has seen record-breaking years, and I would tell you,
We're seeing a lot of people move to Florida, right?
yeah, I mean it's mass migration right now, and it's still happening, and people are moving away from areas that I guess are more restrictive to areas that are free, for lack of a better term. And Texas and Florida, in my opinion, are going to be big winners over the next decade.
Yep. And I sort of cite that fact or idea often in talking about the Jacksonville real estate market, which is, yes, nationally things have slowed down, are slowing down. Mortgage interest rates going up has put pressure on days on market for houses being longer, more available inventory being there. But the thing is that's interesting about Jacksonville is that with so many more people coming than are going, like a net gain for migration, like that may mean that our real estate market acts differently than a lot of the rest of the country. Now, in terms of jobs, so with the chamber, what do you see? Do you guys keep stats on like how many jobs are being added in the city? What companies are moving in? Like are people headquartering here? Are people bringing more jobs in? If they are, like if businesses are moving their headquarters here, does that mean that people physically in Jacksonville are getting jobs, or that these are remote jobs? Like what are your thoughts on that?
It really is all of the above, in my opinion, so far. We have about 60 companies looking to move to Jacksonville right now, which is insane. The pipeline is incredibly strong. We've been able to land corporate headquarters like Dun and Bradstreet. Dun and Bradstreet is one of the most storied companies in the entire United States of America. Abraham Lincoln worked at Dun and Bradstreet. And no, three presidents worked there. Okay, but
I was gonna ask how old Dun and Bradstreet was, and my guess is like a couple hundred years. But yeah,
yes, and so they're in New Jersey. During the pandemic, I had been talking to their leadership about moving to Jacksonville, and then they decided to move here after from New Jersey to Jacksonville, Florida, along with companies like PaySafe, which is located in London, headquartered in London. We meet with those companies when we're at the Jaguars game while we're in the UK. And they've relocated to Jacksonville, Florida, their North American headquarters in our city.
so you're having a cup of coffee with the leadership at Dun and Bradstreet or whoever. What would they say, just as an aside, not in some formal setting, but what's drawing them to Jacksonville? Like, why? Obviously, I'm seeing these articles in the Business Journal. I'm staying aware and on top of these things, but I don't have insider access like you do. So what would they say? Like why Jacksonville? What's drawing them?
Well, you think about moving out of cities like London and New York, how
Okay.
highly priced it is for their employees to live. And you think about what we have in a
Hmm.
community like Jacksonville. We have the natural resources that are provide quality of life. We have a low tax environment. We have incredible talent pool that can fill the jobs that they're trying to bring here. All of that combo is a great story to tell. I love to sell Jacksonville to companies that are in New Jersey in January. And what I, yeah, I
This
mean,
is the time of the year where they're getting a text and a call. Hey guys, how's it going? What's up with y'all in January and February? We're out here playing golf on a Tuesday afternoon, and you're stuck inside.
what time are y'all going to tee off today? Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There you go. Too funny. Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I guess I sort of had a hunch that maybe it had to do with weather, cost of living, and I talk to both buyers and sellers that will say, especially if they've been around Jacksonville for a while, and I'm sure obviously you've noticed this, that wow, our prices are so high now in Jacksonville, Florida, for residential real estate, that is. And while that may be true, compared to London, New York, even Atlanta, Tampa, Miami, our prices are still phenomenally affordable and low compared to some of those cities for what you get for the money in terms of, Jacksonville's still it's a big city, it's still coming up, obviously. It's not Miami, Tampa, Atlanta, New York, London, whatever, but still a great value from my perspective. So, but before I change topics, anything else on that? Like moving forward, Jacksonville, small business, big business, anything to watch out for? Anything that you think is a really cool
yeah,
thing?
you're going to see some more pretty big announcements on corporate reloads, and a lot of them are in the fintech arena. And when we talk about financial services, very high paying jobs, very clean jobs, and they're always good boost to your industry. Almost every industry in Jacksonville is going to benefit from bringing new corporate headquarters here that are tied to fintech.
No, that's a good thing too. Okay, so switching topics then. You're running for mayor. That's been ongoing now for quite some time. What got you into that idea? And this is more just my personal curiosity, but what got you into that? What excites you about being involved in Jacksonville politics? Where did you see maybe an opportunity to make a change? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I love it because it's a nice, friendly environment. You know.
Politics, yeah, it just makes everybody feel so warm and fuzzy and kind and caring. Yeah, yeah, that's I'm sure what attracted you to it.
Yeah, it's all just love each other. No, listen, things are worth fighting for, and sometimes it's worth going through the meat grinder to make good things happen in your community. And my entire career has been built around Jacksonville and serving my city. And I was on city council at a young age, and in the legislature, and now serving at the chamber as CEO has been an incredible way for me to serve my citizens. And I would tell you the next logical step for me in serving my city is to run for mayor. And we hope to make huge impacts on every citizen in Jacksonville. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you come from. I believe everybody should have the opportunity to succeed, and we're going to provide jobs and education and workforce development for folks in our community. And I think we're going to make Jacksonville a better place.
Yeah, and I do think you have a unique perspective given because prior to the chamber, you were with the Building Builders Association, Northeast Florida Builders Association. So when you think, and this is just me talking, but I think you would probably agree, when you think about making a change in a city, a lot of it has to do with jobs and homes and these very practical things that people need access to. And so I think it's great and you're right, that's a natural progression for what you've been doing. So that's super cool. Now, that said, I'm glad you're doing it and not me. Doesn't look like a good time or a walk in the park. But I think it was my dad that would always say anything worth doing is going to be difficult, or nothing worth doing is easy, so to speak. So glad you're doing it though. Well, anything else on the city front to add to that? Obviously, March 21st, go out and vote. What else? Anything
I just
else?
think that you in your industry should be excited about the future of Jacksonville. I can't say the same for states like Illinois or New Jersey or California. I mean, it's a different environment for them. So I would tell you that there's an incredible opportunity for us as a city, both in fintech, health tech, bio industry is going to be big in Jacksonville, and all those are high paying jobs, clean jobs, and we just have to make sure that there's enough product out there for them to be able to afford shelter. One of the other things, Jeff, is we need to make sure workforce housing is in place for teachers and firefighters and police officers because although there's some very high level folks coming to town, we can't miss out on the folks that are keeping us safe, and they need a place to live too.
Well, let's talk about that for a couple seconds here. So, does that an effort to improve workforce housing, does that happen at the state level? Does that happen at the city level? Does that happen at the federal level? Is it all of the above? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's all of the above, but the city has to take a leadership role. We have plenty of city-owned land. Independent authorities like JEA and JTA own property, and we should be thinking, how do we make some of that property available to developers to develop workforce housing and then maintain workforce housing as we grow as a community. That's something I'm going to lead on, and I'm excited about that as well because all of that in your industry, it all stacks on itself to make sure that everybody has a place to go and everybody has shelter. Because if you don't have shelter, you don't have quality of life.
Yep, no, that's right. And when you, as a city, as a community, ignore portions of, entire people groups at a particular maybe socioeconomic level that don't have good housing and have to drive an hour to their job, all of a sudden it creates this real sort of odd living situation. You can see that in other large cities oftentimes that it's just not a good thing. So no, that's a great ad and thought. Well, man, I don't want to take up any more of your morning here, but greatly appreciate you being on. Anything else, if somebody wants to go find out about what you're doing, your campaign, that sort of thing, where would you send them?
DanielDavisJacksonville.com. We'd love
DanielDavisJacksonville.com.
to earn everybody's vote.
Absolutely. Go check Daniel out. And if you've got any real estate questions, give me a shout, shoot me an email. Jeff@era.com and 904-405-1995. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Daniel, thank you for the time. Y'all take care.